Lights, camera, action! The Fixed Ops Roundtable is live on the campus of Northwood University at their 61st Annual International Auto Show. Please welcome our hosts, Ted Ings and Sarah Van Tine.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tine here with Ted Ings and the Brian Benstock. We are at Northwood University. Ted, we have some amazing questions for Brian today.
What a great honor to have Brian with us at Northwood University. Brian, welcome, and congratulations on all the success that you're having.
Oh, thanks for having me here. It's fantastic to go back to school. I miss it. But it's really exciting. The students here are fantastic. It's really a great environment for them.
It's a great resource, and if I'm not mistaken, I saw you perhaps maybe trying to hire a couple along the way yesterday.
You better believe it. I'm a shark in a goldfish tank here. This is raw material. The kids are energetic. They're enthusiastic. They're smart. I was never that smart when I was that age, and they're really setting a great career path for themselves by being here at the university.
Brian, you had some incredible content and talking points yesterday. You were on a panel first thing in the morning. We were discussing a lot of things in automotive. Could you share a little bit with our audience today? What are your thoughts about the future in 2025?
Well, I think the future of automotive is exciting, more so now than ever before. When you've got automotive dealers now becoming real businessmen like never before, process-driven businessmen, and then having the Googles of the world and the Amazons having an impact on our industry, I think is a really good thing. I think we're learning how to take care of customers better, moving at the speed of the customers, no longer dictating how they have to do business, but putting things on customers' terms. And I heard a lot of that yesterday. I heard a lot of Mr. Flo was fantastic. He talked about mobility being freedom, and it is in fact, we don't sell cars, we sell freedom, we sell lifestyle. And I think when you look at it like that, you see the possibilities for us to really take this industry to another level.
I also like the analogy that I heard about the hospitality industry and how closely we are related to that. I don't know if you'd like to speak to that.
Well, the differentiator, we sell Hondas, and I'm proud to sell Hondas, but the Honda that I sell is roughly the same as the Honda that everybody else sells. So what makes us winners or losers in this game is really the things we can control, which is the hospitality, making the customers feel great in the dealership. And I want Paragon to be like a temple to the brand. You go in there and it's beautiful and it's experiential and you can interact with the products and you touch and feel and experience the products. And I think that's a differentiator going forward. We have hot, fresh baked cookies in the dealership. You walk in, you can smell the cookies. We've got the most beautiful fragrances everywhere there. And really making customers feel welcome. And I think him speaking yesterday to being in the hospitality business really put that frame around what we've been trying to do. He said it better than I did, but it puts a frame around that. How do you create fantastic, memorable, consistent customer experiences in your dealerships?
Sarah, I think we're going to have to do a pop-up event at Paragon and get a sample of some of those things like the cookies as well.
They're pretty good.
And Brian, you've always been an innovator. You've always been the person that's on the cutting edge of what's next in automotive. What advice would you give dealers thinking about their fixed operations departments this year?
Well, making it easier for customers to do business. I'm blown away by the statistic. The service business is an $800 billion industry in the United States of America, and retail automotive dealers are losing 80% of that business to the independents. And we can make excuses. It's because they're less expensive. That's not the case. It's proximity right? They're there. We're closer to the customers. We have in our marketplace, the 5 boroughs of New York, 17,000 independent service providers. 17,000. So is by competition those 17,000? Or is it the 6 Honda dealers? We used to compete with the 6 Honda dealers. Now we're looking at how do we take a piece of that 80% that we're losing. And the fact is, we're not in the game. If you type in Google, oil change near me, not one dealer shows up. If you type tires near me, not one dealer shows up. So we're losing this battle by default. So I think it's really important and incumbent upon us to take that space back.
There's a big move afoot, and you saw it early in our industry, for remote services, to not have the customer have to wait inside the dealership while their vehicle is being serviced. I believe that you are one of the early adopters, okay, with service pickup and delivery. Now we hear all types of industries trying to take a page from the automotive book. Speak to us a little bit about those.
Well, we saw an opportunity to serve customers by bringing service to them. And I asked myself, how could we, there was an open dealership in Manhattan, and I said, where would Starbucks put a Honda dealership if they had to put one? How would they go about doing that? And you say, Starbucks, there seems to be one on every corner. And I asked myself, how could we put our dealership on every corner? And the answer was, it came to me, it's this. This is the key. Everybody has one of these. And if we could put the dealership right here on this customer's cell phone and make accessing the dealership, all of our services available by just tapping on the phone, well, I think we go a long way towards making that happen. And so we developed a pickup and delivery system that you can go on your phone, pick up, make an appointment, have your car picked up while you're working, serviced during the day, and put back at your office before you leave. I've never had a car serviced at a car dealership. I'm 63 years old. I'm in the business 42. I wish I was 40. I can't remember being 40. But I have never gone to a dealership to have service. It's a complete waste of time. And I add no value to being there when the car is being serviced, right? Other than paying. And we realized that why not make that available? What I do is have my car, someone picks it up, they service it, and put it back in my driveway. Why not make that available to our customers en masse? And it's really worked out well for us.
And I remember you said there was a return on learning, because on your way to coming there, you thought initially about perhaps having some centers or holding centers around Manhattan where people could come and drop off their cars.
I didn't want to mention that because it really sounds stupid in retrospect, but we were trying to solve for X. How do we service the island of Manhattan? And that's exactly right, Ted. We thought, well, maybe we'll have 4 garages. We make a contract with the 4 garages, and the customers could drop their cars off there, and then we have a truck go pick up the cars from the 4 garages, bring them to Paragon. What a nightmare! But you've got to have those free-flowing thoughts, because that bad idea led to a better idea. What if we had pickup and delivery? How can we make that available? We created a texting app. We created an app to send pictures to the customers, and a payment app. And then we sewed those together like Frankenstein, and we came up with something that really ended up being a game changer for us. And as you know, since 2017, Paragon's picked up over 200,000 cars for service, serviced them, and put them back in the customer's driveway or garage. And it's been quite a game changer for our fixed ops department. And you were there at the beginning.
Well, e-commerce continues to be top of mind. You mentioned Amazon, and you mentioned having the ability to purchase right from your cell phone. How are you seeing these applications unfold on the sales side? Are you seeing things in part sales and in selling inventory?
Yeah. So, great question, right? I went to order headphones from Apple. I'm a runner, and I went to get the headphones. I knew the next day I was running. And when I went to order them, they gave me an option to have the headphones delivered that same day. And so I said, son of a gun. The next day, 24 hours is no longer the standard. It's same day delivery. And I said, how do they do that, right? And they were using the Uber Eats platform to deliver their products. I said, what a great idea. So we started doing that with parts, to be able to use Uber to deliver parts to a customer. So now, how many parts drivers do we have? As many as we need. And we have a great commercial of people standing in the middle of Manhattan and looking to get parts. And all of a sudden, the parts start raining down from the sky, and brake calipers and rotors are dropping down from the sky. And then someone, ding dong, rings the doorbell, and here's your part. The ability to use other industries to look at ways that we can improve our industries is everywhere. And the customer experience is not based on how we do compared to other automobile dealers. The customer experience is how do we do compared to everything else the customer experiences in their life. And I think was a key paradigm shift for me, not comparing ourselves to the dealer across the street, down the block, across the country, but how are we doing compared to Amazon? How are we doing compared to Tesla? How are we doing compared to the services that Google provides? I mean, when's the last time you did a Google search and you didn't get the answer? You get the answer every time. And so how do we get that consistency in what we do? And I think when we started holding ourselves to that standard, we raised the bar for Paragon. And our Net Promoter Score for service is ahead of Amazon's, it's ahead of Apple's, it's ahead of Target's. And who ever thought that we'd be looking at those guys as our competitors?
Isn't this amazing that you're using all this innovation, not just on the sales side, but we're talking today about parts, Brian. This is not the sexiest part of the car business, and service.
No, it is the sexiest part. Do you see the money that's there? The untapped resources? And we've got to stop looking at that department as an appendage, right? That's in the future. That's where all the action is. I used to be a hockey player. I knew this guy, Wayne Gretzky. He said, I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where the puck is going to be. And I think that's where the puck is going to be. I think that's where the industry is going to be. So I want to try and get as far out ahead of it as I can. And again, if there's $800 billion going to the third parties or the independents, isn't that the biggest opportunity? I don't need to take a service appointment away from a brother or sister Honda dealer, but I want to take all of it away from the independents. And I know some of the independents are your clients, and no offense.
It's incredible, Ted, just all of the insight that Brian shares. I learn something every time that we get the opportunity to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I think everybody here at Northwood has benefited greatly, Brian, from you being here this week.
And I think I've benefited greatly too. Going back to school makes me see the excitement and the possibilities of the future. You know, I was talking with Mike Stahl yesterday, and we were sitting in the audience listening to the incredible speakers. And wasn't it really interesting to see really successful businessmen and women? I'm talking about some are millionaires and billionaires taking notes. So you're never too old to go back to school. And I was one of those, not millionaire, billionaire, but I was one of those taking notes yesterday to go back with something that I can share with our guys. And Northwood provided me with that opportunity yesterday.
Well, Brian Benstock, congratulations to you and all the success that you're having. Thank you for being with us here. Back to school at Northwood.
Back to school.
Everybody, we are at Northwood University with Brian Benstock, Sarah Van Tyne, and I at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We are going to be right back.
I'm out here today appraising and buying cars from total strangers using just two things, our AccuTrade mobile app and our Bluetooth OBD2 scanner. That's all we need in order to give them a 100% instant offer guaranteed by AccuTrade. So let's tell Maeve what her vehicle is worth and what we're willing to write you a check for.
Let's do it. No way!
Right?
No! I might want my check.
Oh, we can. That's all it takes.
In automotive, we know that innovation drives us forward. The Fixed Ops Roundtable Certified Program is designed to help preferred dealers and partners with powerful tools, resources, and marketing to achieve even greater success. Ted Ings and I invite you to learn more today at fixedopsroundtablecertified.com.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tyne. Ted Ings and I are here today at Northwood University, and we have an incredible panel with us today, Ted.
What an incredible panel is right, and I'd like our esteemed panelists to introduce themselves and tell us about themselves, starting with Cam here.
Thank you. I'm Cam McManus. I'm the Chief Customer Officer at CDK Global, and this is my first time at here to Northwood and the event, and it's just been a thrill so far, actually, and meeting students and looking forward to the day ahead. And so thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to Northwood, Cam. My name is Sydney Rizzo. I'm the Signature Events Chair for this year's auto show. I'm currently in DeVos right now, getting my master's in business administration. But but this is my second year on the board, and it's been an absolute joy.
I'm Alex Mazon. I'm the general chair for this year's auto show. This is my 5th auto show, funny enough. And I'm also doing my master's program, so yeah.
Cool. And I'm Kathy Gilbert. I'm with CDK Global. I have national responsibility for all of our minority dealers and our women retailers. And Northwood and supporting this organization and this university is a passion. So thank you.
Well, Kathy, I want to come to you because the Automotive Roundtable driven by women, such an incredible event. Can you tell us a little bit more why this is important to CDK and the women of automotive?
So when we were asked to participate, one of the things that we wanted to do was to really highlight the women in the industry because women are underrepresented. And so it's a passion to us to really bring a spotlight to the women at Northwood and give them an opportunity to really kind of shine, which is what they do and what we do well. We wanted to focus on the roundtable mainly because it's not just women. It's about all the students that are here. It's about men and women making a difference. And so we wanted to highlight bringing women here, bringing leaders here that can share their experiences and make it really a great event for all of us.
Mm-hmm. And Sydney, you have had a front row seat to planning and coordinating all of this. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience as a student of Northwood doing this?
Yeah, so this is the second year that I've worked with CDK on this roundtable. Over the course of the last 2-3 years, I have met so many incredible women, not just from CDK, but from so many different automotive companies, and it's been so great, especially with fellow students and kind of getting to talk to them about their experiences, kind of their path as a woman in the industry. It's a great mentorship and learning opportunity.
And Cam, I know your perspective. This is a great experience at Northwood University. Could you share your thoughts about it?
Absolutely. An event where you're bringing people together and you're focusing on women, and as Kathy said, still underrepresentation. And this is such a brilliant opportunity for everyone to share experiences, learn from experiences. I am really fundamentally believe also in this pay it forward. The things that you learn by just at every part of your career journey. So there's things that you can always share and pass on. So I always say it doesn't matter whether you're towards the end of your career, someone like myself, and I do a lot of mentoring, but actually even as a freshman or a graduate or someone early in their career journey, there's always something that your experience that's going to be valuable to somebody else. And so I just think having the opportunity in roundtables to share those experiences and also just I think learn from or hear other people's challenges and how you can perhaps glean from that and take that forward in your own journey. And I really believe that this notion of paying it forward is such a powerful piece, particularly for women. Yeah.
Alex, you have 5 years at Northwood University. How do these roundtables and these opportunities to learn, how have they benefited you?
Sure. I mean, I guess a perfect word would be inspiration. That event is breathtaking for me because I get to sit down and sort of learn about all these women who make an impact and how impactful these women are in their companies. And it's really inspiring to know, because I have a little sister. And so it's really inspiring to know that my sister could be sitting at one of these tables one day and doing the same thing.
Sarah, the students we have on the panel with us today are not just any students. We've got Sydney Rizzo, the chair of the signature events, and we've got Alexander Mazon, the chair of the entire auto show, running this entire weekend with millions of dollars of inventory, hundreds of students involved in setting this thing up. What an amazing event that takes 52 weeks to put together. And I've had a chance to see everything along the way and see you folks grow. Sydney, I thought that the Women's Roundtable, one of the great things was the mentoring. If you want to talk to us about that, because I thought to have a mentor at any stage in life is so important.
Oh yes, it's so important. Being able to pick up the phone and just call someone for a helping hand, not even just about work, but just about life in general.
Yeah.
It's huge. And, Kathy, CDK Global, actually, we connected to also in Colorado at the WIA conference, and a lot of those women from that event will be here on Saturday. So, and they're really big on mentorship and mentorship programs. So just having that connection and them being here as well, helping other students, it's huge for us. We really appreciate it.
Kathy, do you want to speak to the mentoring component? Because I've heard that word come up the last day or so a whole lot.
Well, I am a big fan of mentoring, and I've had it most of my career. One of the things too, and Sydney mentioned the Women in Automotive Conference. Last year, we had over 300 people in attendance, and I tell you a large percentage of them were women. And the part that's fun is when you look at those that are entering the industry, first in career, and they're kind of looking at, how do I make my way in this industry? There's so many women, there's so many people. So, I mean, we love men too. So thank you, Alex, as well as all of the men that help us. But the fun thing about mentoring is that we learn as a mentor as much as we give. And so when you're looking at these new talent that is coming out into our workforce today, there's so much learning, so many things that they were exposed to that we weren't. And so now it's that sharing of information, and we learn from each other together, and I think it's great.
Isn't this great to be on campus and see all this unfold?
It absolutely is. Mentoring is such a powerful piece of your career journey. I've been blessed to have some amazing mentors, and now being a mentor myself, and certainly probably the last 15 years. And it's really interesting. A few years ago, I was really mentoring more women sort of more senior levels, but in the recent years, I took on a young woman just out of college, and it was such a great experience for me as well, just to seeing what are the challenges, what are they facing into, and how I can help support and influence. But not only that, they're really helping me also understand the dynamics that are going on in their world, and staying really close and relevant to that. So it's just such a powerful thing.
Kathy, to touch on one more piece, Northwood has a commitment to the Paving the Way Awards. Could you talk to us a little bit more about what this is?
So Paving the Way is an award that CDK, or recognition that CDK put together about 2 years ago. And it starts with Women's History Month. And every week following or beginning with Women's History Month, we recognize women that are doing great things in our industry, women that are paving the way, women that are giving back and helping others. And so I'm just excited because we recognize 4 of our women. Actually, it was 6, because we recognized Sydney, we recognized Hannah, we recognized Savannah, and then we recognized the Nissan team. There were 3 women. And when you listen at their stories, when you listen at how passionately they talk about not only Northwood, their education, but what they're doing in this industry, Paving the Way is a way for us to recognize women that are doing great things, but it's also a way for others to see them through a social spotlight that we do online. And so it's a great way to just give back, but also to just bring awareness to women that are doing great things, and men that recognize women who are doing great things. So that's what Paving the Way is. And if you know someone, please let me know, because we'd like to recognize all the women that we can that are doing wonderful things and trailblazing in this industry.
Sarah, I was very impressed when I went to the Women's Roundtable here last year. It's going to be happening tomorrow morning, but to see all those students gathered around those round tables and meeting with people such as yourself, okay, who are established in the automotive career, and Kathy, okay, and Cam as well. And to be able to spend a few minutes, I'm not sure how many it was, Kathy, but it seemed like 5-10 minutes, and then they're off to the next table to learn from the next one. Kathy, what a great idea.
Oh my goodness, what we wind up doing is we have about 15 women that are identified. They come in and the students get a chance to talk to each of them for about 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
But it's a little bit about their story, what they're doing, and it helps the students because the students get a chance to ask questions that are relevant and important to them. So I think it's an amazing opportunity.
Well, the opportunity, I think, is ours as well. We're getting a chance at home to visit with Northwood University, with CDK Global, and see all the wonderful things happening here at Northwood University. Congratulations to everybody here on all the success that you're having. Sydney, Alex, on a great show, okay, ahead.
Thank you.
And Cam and Kathy for all you do for the industry. So we're at Northwood University, everybody, at the pop-up event. We are going to be right back.
CDK fits into what we try to do here very well for one reason. It works. The resources you have allow you to run a car dealership the way that it's supposed to be run. The CDK Fixed Op Suite allows the service advisor to concentrate on the customer. That has been just the biggest game changer. It's changed the entire face of the business, both in customer transparency and trust. We're pushing right at about a 20% increase in CSI.
Without CDK, I don't think we could be as successful as we are today. We've had record months for the past 14 months.
We've seen a 30% increase in gross profit in our service department in just 1 year, and up 25% in our parts department.
We went from 1.5 to 2 hours per RO on an average to probably more like 5 to 7 per average on an RO.
We use CDK all day long. There's literally nothing that you can do that doesn't require CDK's systems in order to do your job. What I'm most excited about with CDK, the evolution of the product itself. I like the direction it's going. It's going to make people's lives even easier.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We are coming to you live from Northwood University's 61st International Auto Show. I'm Vanessa Collins, joined by Katrina Ness, and 3 rock star Northwood University students.
It's so exciting to have some of our close peers be on this panel with us. So starting with Colin and going down the line, if you guys would love to share your name, your position in auto show, your major, and just a little bit about you.
Sure. My name is Colin Kubik. I'm the public relations chair for this auto show that we're putting on here today for you. I have studied in marketing communications the past 4 years, and I'm going to be on my way out of this university in great spirits, heading into the workforce here soon. I'm super excited about projecting growth into the automotive world and beyond. Truthfully, I'm a man for communications. I've said it before that I want to take my mind and my heart and use it to speak my voice to bring across a message to whatever company is going to use that valuable skill. On top of that, I love music, I love the outdoors, and it's a little bit about me.
Awesome.
I'm Peyton Lochner. I'm a marketing communications student here at Northwood University. This year for the auto show, I am captain of Team Chevy, which I'm so honored to have an opportunity to be in this year's show. It is my last year here at Northwood University. I started coming to auto shows since I was a baby, so I'm extremely excited about this year's show, and I hope to make it the best one yet.
My name is Carver Patel. I'm from New Hampshire, so it's a long way here, but I am one of our exotics captains at this year's show. My major is automotive marketing management, and I'm ready for the weekend.
Wonderful. Wow. So my next question is, what has your Northwood experience been like so far, both in and outside of the classroom? I understand you guys are all involved in our auto show that's happening this weekend. So yeah, if you could touch a little bit about what you've learned both in and out of the classroom.
It all comes down to just they just prepare you for everything.
Yeah.
So it's just get involved and that's really it.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. It's all about making connections in and outside of the classroom. I think a lot of the connections that I've made personally are outside of the classrooms and even outside of Northwood, but learning how to make those connections, I learned here.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I got to echo these two in both saying that the connections are super important, but there's also the facet of this school attracting leadership naturally. There is something to be said about every student that you meet on campus. It was said previously in talks throughout the weekend that a handshake is something that this school preaches. You go up to somebody, you shake their hand, you look them in the eyes, and you introduce yourself, and it usually brings on a really wonderful relationship to follow. That is something that the school teaches through and through, and that's something that professors will inspire students in the classroom to speak on. It is truly a wonderful experience being taught by people that have experience in the industry and that being able to relate that to students that are, have never experienced that for themselves.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that, I'll ask you another question. How has Auto Show really guided you in your career and helped you be the better person that you are today?
That is a great question. And honest to greatness, the Auto Show has given me so many incredible opportunities. I've been able to sit with rooms with people that have such high understanding of the automotive sector, but beyond that, wonderful businessmen, and then beyond that, wonderful men and women in business. I have seen the likes of people that I wouldn't have comprehended when I was a freshman back in 2020. I really do enjoy the talks that go on. And then can you rephrase your question once more? I'm sorry.
Just how has Auto Show made you a better person to this day?
Fantastic, yes. But on that, it's also given me a load of confidence. This is something that I believe Northwood does and sets it apart from all the other universities that you'll see in the United States, and in my opinion, is that there is so much raw opportunity to capture confidence in conversation. There's so many people that are willing to sit there and talk with you and speak with you and give you the opportunity to present yourself in a way that is almost like, hey, I am betraying my fears of being, wrapping myself around that first impression standpoint that gets people so flustered sometimes. It allows you to overcome that in a bright and beautiful way. And being the public relations chair, I've had a lot of experience doing that. It's given me a wonder and a joy of being able to explore a whole industry, and I'd be better for it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Peyton, how about you? How has the Northwood Auto Show affected you personally and your career growth?
Yeah, so I have to say, to echo off of Colin, I agree. The Auto Show has given me a lot more confidence with the automotive industry. Growing up, I had a lot of pressure from my family, who are big car people. We had a very automotive-focused family, to go down that route as well. But that was something that I wasn't sure I was confident in. I wasn't sure if I knew enough about it. But coming here to Northwood and being involved in the Auto Show, I was like, I can do this. Oh, I understand. These people are great. We can build connections and whatnot. And that actually led me to my internship with an associate of Chevy Performance and the Copo Build Center. And that helped me talk to executives there that I most likely never would have been able to do successfully without first coming here.
Yeah, I don't think they could have said it better. I've met people, especially this weekend, that I never even thought I would meet. And I like the Auto Show has a lot of customization that a lot of people don't realize, that kind of teaches you and gets you ready for whatever comes next. So.
Yeah. So you guys are some astonishing young individuals, and my next question is, you probably had a pick of colleges. So why Northwood? I have a feeling I know for Peyton why Northwood, but right down the line, why did you choose Northwood?
I originally chose Northwood because my father came here. He was the general chair of the show in '94.
Okay.
So I wanted to follow in his footsteps, join the automotive industry, and see where it led me.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think you're probably thinking for the Auto Show, and yes, I have been associated with the Auto Show for quite a while now. But it wasn't until I actually toured here at Northwood for the first time that I realized that this was the place that I wanted to be for certain. And I didn't even look at any other schools. I was like, the first tour, I was like, this is where I'm going.
Wow.
And I'd have to say it was because of the values here.
Yeah.
We really value individual freedom and individual responsibility. And I think, we really walk the talk here, and I think it's fantastic.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Walking the talk. That is honestly the reason. There was so much explanation before I came into this school about what it stands for. Not just, hey, this is the course load that we do. These are the things that you'll learn in the classroom. But there was so much talk about the values. Like, this is what we stand for. We stand for free enterprise. We stand for freedom of personal responsibility. Mm-hmm. There are specific ideas that speak to a higher part, I think, of all of our character. Wow. Everybody that's sitting here on these stools, they all know that there's something that speaks to all of us individually. And I'll emulate what I said earlier, that this place speaks to leaders. And I think everybody that's sitting right here is a leader in their own facet.
Yeah, so Colin just touched a little bit on the Northwood idea, which really embodies freedom, personal responsibility, and free enterprise. So what do these core values of Northwood mean to our students?
I think it means passion. Truthfully, people sit there all the time and say, find your passion, find your this, find your that. I believe that the ideas lead to that kind of passion. You need discipline in your life. You need to be able to trust yourself, gain confidence. You need to have empathy. There are so many intricate things that lead to being a good person. And I believe these values are the pathway to accomplish that.
I love that. Peyton, what about you? How does the Northwood idea speak to you?
I have to agree with Colin. I think it does have a lot to do with passion. And to add on to that, I think with the emphasis on freedom, it's really a call to saying, here in America, everybody has the freedom to follow their passion as long as they take the individual responsibility to get there.
So, yeah. Once again, I don't think they could have said it better. They just get you ready for anything that comes your way. I'm only a sophomore, and I feel like I could leave here confidently and ready.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And those values really embody it and build up you as a person, and you stand by them. I believe that. So on behalf of myself, Vanessa Collins, Northwood University, our peers, and the Fixed Ops Roundtable, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for some more panels later.
Go mad!
Go mad! Go mad!
Go mad!
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tyne here with Ted Ings. We are coming from Northwood University, and today we have an incredible panel with us. Ted?
Cox Automotive has a tremendous presence here at Northwood University. I'd like to have the gentlemen up here on the panel introduce themselves, starting with Jason.
Yeah, hi, thank you, Ted. I'm Jason Jager, and I'm the Senior Director of Industry Partnerships for Cox Automotive, and I've had the privilege of leading our organization's overall relationship with Northwood University for 18 plus years.
I'm Patrick Janes. I lead the vAuto Inventory Solutions Software division of Cox Automotive. But I spend about 5 to 6 times a semester up here actually teaching the students. So I'm boots on the ground for Cox Automotive here at Northwood University.
Well, I want to find out a little bit more about that special relationship that Cox has with Northwood. So Jason, tell us a little bit more in depth about that and how that works.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. So as I mentioned, we've had an 18 plus year relationship with Northwood University, actually nearing 20 years at this point in time. It began with our Mannheim side of our organization, and soon thereafter our Auto Trader and our Auto Trader retail group of businesses followed. And when we formed formally Cox Automotive in 2014, we brought that whole relationship under one tent, so to speak. So now the relationship is comprised of on-campus sponsorships, sponsorship of the auto show, as you see here today, scholarships, and in-classroom lectures and programming, education and philosophy with our vAuto brands, X-Time brands, and Mannheim.
Those are some of the industry's leading brands, Jason, not just any. And to have these students exposed to that through these labs, just amazing opportunities for them.
Yeah, it really is. It's a terrific opportunity, certainly for the students, but really for us as an organization and a company as well, really to talk about industry philosophies and to be able to demonstrate that in an experiential fashion to the students in conjunction with LG Bright and the professors. And my colleague Patrick Janes here does a terrific job, in particularly leading that component for the vAuto side of our business.
I should be addressing him as Professor Patrick. Do you want to speak to that special relationship?
Yeah, I always tell the students you got to have a side hustle, right? So I got this full-time job, for Cox Automotive, but I am blessed to be able to come up here and be in the classroom with the students. And it's a fabulous opportunity. We're not only teaching them about dealership operations, vehicle inventory management, they're getting to dabble into some of the software solutions that are available to them. So they really, when they go do those internships at those large dealer groups or anywhere in the industry, they have a sense of how this software works and how it operates dealerships. So I really think the takeaway from them is that kind of hands-on, frontline type of experience that I don't think you can get in any other institution.
Well, Jason, we've heard so much about the Cox Automotive Solutions Lab. Tell us more. What goes into the Solutions Lab, and what is it like to be a student?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. So we launched as I say, we've been growing our relationship over the years, right? And so in 2018, up until that point in time, we had been doing a series of guest lectures here or there. It was more on an ad hoc basis, right? So in 2018, we really had the opportunity to formalize the approach to education here. And through the sponsorship and the delivery of the branded Cox Automotive Solutions Lab, that's when we decided to bring together a full year worth of curriculum. And again, Patrick touched on it. The vAuto piece of our business leads that, and it's an opportunity to hear directly in a lecture form fashion on our philosophies, but then to really the next day take that and convert it into a lab, practical application, experiential environment. And so our vAuto brands have really been leading the way with that. We also have a couple X-Time colleagues on the fixed op side that do that here on campus for us as well. And then to round it out, in the recent years, we've added Mannheim. And with the Mannheim piece of it, it's guest lectures, but it's also, we take the students, and again, here's the Northwood idea and the experiential component. We take the students out of their classroom environment and to our auction. So it's an opportunity for the students to see the auction live and in action on sales day. It's a college version of a field trip, if you will. So that's the latest element that we've added with Mannheim, and we're looking to always to grow the partnership and the educational piece of it, Sarah, through some of our other brands as well.
And Patrick, you have a unique experience to be here on campus with these young students. And can you share your perspective on the Cox Automotive Solutions Lab?
Well, it's more than just a classroom, right? So we're actually giving them, real life practical applications. My goal after the first semester when I teach is to actually say they can take our mobile app and be able to appraise and value a car from their aunt, uncle, grandma, whoever's in the market, when it comes to that holiday break. And so it's the real live hands-on opportunity that they have, and actually be a trusted source to their family members. All right, you went off to this, automotive university. What did you learn? Well, let me show you how much your car is worth, and if you're in the market for a car, I can actually show you, what the live market view is for the vehicle listings that are out there, and consult you on being able to make that purchase, which they find, really rewarding.
Patrick, how about outside of the university? How does Cox work with Northwood and the students outside of the campus? Because that's part of the big picture here.
So I've been up here 7 years teaching now. Wow. And so in that period of time, you get to see these students from freshman year all the way till they're out of school. And I love that because the automobile business is nothing but a huge network, right? And so what happens is we've got these students that are all working for employers across the country. Some of them working for us. We've just had a few. Grace Haynes, you talked about Mannheim. She just accepted a position with us here a few weeks ago. And, we were influential on that. We want to keep some of these students coming to Cox Automotive as well, because we need that type of experience. But what's interesting is whether we're sponsoring them on a scholarship and helping them offset expenses to come to NADA so they can see how our company operates in that environment, or whether they've moved on and are working for our clients of our software solutions, we have this great network of brilliant students out there that we continue to keep track of. And that's the fulfillment I get as an old car guy, if you will, to be able to see these folks out there flourishing.
You want to speak to that as well?
Yes, absolutely. So, and Patrick hit the nail on the head. The most recent iteration of this is bringing the students to the NADA show, right? And so it's an opportunity for the students to be with us in our footprint, in the booth, engaged, shadowing but also engaging and interacting with our clients as well. So again, there's that experiential learning component, and it's terrific. It's a great way for them to also get exposure to our business and for us to get a sense of them and the value that they can bring to the industry after school.
Well, Jason, we're here at Northwood University and the auto show is going on. Can you tell us a little bit more, why is it so important to be involved in the auto show?
Yeah, so the auto show is Northwood's Super Bowl, right? I mean, it is really the essence of the Northwood idea. And in one weekend, it demonstrates the epitome of experiential learning here on campus and what the students do so incredibly well with soup to nuts, sourcing, identifying, bringing the vehicles to campus. And then for us, it's a great opportunity to engage with the students, the faculty. It's an opportunity for us to bring our executives to campus and have conversations, key conversations with Northwood officers to see how we can further expand the relationship for the betterment of the entire industry, frankly.
In closing, gentlemen, there's a lot of talk about scholarships, okay? I know Cox Automotive is deeply involved with that. I believe you have, 3 scholarships? If either of you would like to speak to that here at Northwood.
Yeah, that's right, Ted. We do have 3 annual scholarships. The first is the General Chair Scholarship. The second is the Barbara Cox Memorial Scholarship. And our third scholarship is in conjunction with the National Independent Auto Dealers Association. Now, the first scholarship, it's particularly prescient for this weekend. It's the General Chair Scholarship, and it is a full ride, full tuition scholarship to the chair of the auto show. So this year, that's Alex Mazon. And so that relieves the financial burden for the student that's running the show so they can focus exclusively on the show. The second scholarship that I really wanted to mention as well is the Barbara Cox Memorial Scholarship, and that's named after our second generation Cox Enterprise owner and former director of Cox Enterprises to honor her and her business endeavors. And then the third one, the NIADA Scholarship, we deliver that annually in conjunction with NIADA at their convention in June.
Wow, there's so much to the Northwood connection. On behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, I want to thank you both, Jason and Patrick, for all that you do here at Northwood University. It's part of a really big picture and a great endeavor.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Everybody, we're at Northwood University. We're going to be right back.
The Fixed Ops Roundtable is a name you can trust for the latest technology, tools, and processes in a fast-changing retail environment. Become part of the brand that's building the most powerful consumer experiences. To be considered for the Fixed Ops Roundtable Certified program, please visit us at fixedopsroundtablecertified.com.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. We are at Northwood University. And Ted, we have some incredible gentlemen with us today on this panel.
We do. We have the leadership team at Traver Connect with us, both Joe Clemente and Joe Link. I want to congratulate Joe Clemente on big news that just recently came out. Joe Link, I want to congratulate you as well. Welcome to Northwood University and the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Well, thanks for having us, Ted.
Joe, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
Yeah, my role is the Executive Vice President at Traver Connect, really about the operations and the people development for Traver Connect.
And Joe?
And I'm the National Director of Business Development for Traver Connect. Came aboard earlier in the year, and we have the power team here now with our CEO, John Traver, and our COO, Bob Gower. We're definitely working every single day to make things happen in our industry.
Well, Joe, I know that leadership is just, and really the development of leadership is such a hallmark that both Bob and John really hone in on at Traver Connect. Could you share your perspective? What qualities do leaders really need to have today to be effective?
I think one of the biggest things for us is we hear these panels over and over is culture, right? And it's building the culture to exhibit strength, positivity, and things of that nature. Bringing Joe on has been an absolute blessing in having us recreate or retransition what we've been doing before. And Joe, I'll give it to you. I call you Mr. Culture, so please explain.
Yeah, I think it's important in today's workplace that leaders understand that there's a multicultural, multi-generation environment, and you have to connect people with your mission, your values, and your vision, and that culture cannot be determined by a measurement. It has to be internally, and it has to expose itself externally. You have to show who you are and why you exist, and people feel connected. They're much more resilient to change, and they're more, they look at things with a brighter scope, right? They change their lens. When they do that, great things happen.
Joe Clemente, you are known as the Coach Joe, and leadership development, and that makes perfect sense about the culture aspect. That's why John would see it so critical to have you aboard. Let's talk a little bit, Joe Clemente, about the friction points and removing them at the dealership level for the customer.
Yeah, the biggest friction point for the consumer, right, is how do I make an appointment? And the best advice that I could give dealerships is to look at that experience. If we can remove those friction points, we can connect our clients with our dealerships. And with Traver Connect, that's exactly what we do. We connect the client, the customer, with our dealerships. And really, when you think about an experience for a dealer, they have one perspective. If we look at it globally and see how the consumer, the customer sees that experience and understand it, and we can remove those friction points, it makes it a lot easier for both of those two parties to connect.
And what's nice about what Traver Connect does, you do it in a number of ways. You give dealers options in how Traver Connect can work with them. Would you mind talking to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a few ways that we can support a dealer. So we have an outbound process where we can actually help connect you with your customer base. We have an inbound perspective where we can actually help you connect with your customers from an inbound perspective. We have a new process that is designed for pickup and delivery. We call it Retention Moves. It's a great strategy that will actually allow your customer to bring their vehicle to you, or you as a dealership have much more control over that experience, and the consumer can stay where they are. They can stay at their office, they can stay at their home, and there's a lot of avenues that we can really help you connect with your customers. Experience really does matter.
Joe, Link, this conversation around connecting with the customers and building that loyalty, that's a topic of conversation with a lot of dealerships today. So from your perspective, how can dealerships really help build that loyalty, both in their people and then also in their customer base?
Absolutely. I think it all starts, like Joe mentioned, it all starts on the phone call and having that empathy, engagement, enriching experience when a customer calls in to the dealership. And from my experience back in 1994, from when we would pick up the phone and we would say service, to now, it's a great day here at, right? It all starts with training and having the ability to truly, and Ted, a couple weeks back at the Summer Palooza, you had a gentleman on your panel that had a renaissance of training. That's what we're in. We're in getting back to the basics of training our agents to understand what compassion and empathy is. Because if you don't have that on the phones,
right,
we're lost. And Joe Link, can I follow that up a little bit? Because what's important also is the human aspect. You've got an actual human connected with a customer, all right? An actual person who can demonstrate those qualities. Talk to us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. We've all got really, the word AI is going around. And we have to make sure that we're segmenting AI in the right way. But our industry is still a human-driven industry. When a customer calls into the dealership, they don't want to be pressing 4, 5, 6, 7 prompts to check on the status of their vehicle. They want to hear from their service advisor. They want to understand that they can go to a person directly. Because again, it goes back to the compassion of not everybody wakes up in the morning looking forward to calling a dealership, making an appointment, and then spending $750 on a set of front brake pads and rotors, right? So I think it's really, we call it the engagement. Our mission, is experience matters, right? And we got to give that to our customers every single time on every single phone call.
Sarah, that's got to be music to your ears.
Oh my gosh, Ted, this is the conversations we've been having for a long time. Just all of this coming together and discussing it. It's so important today in our industry.
I love it. Joe Clemente, let me come back to culture again. I come to you on that every time, strengthening culture. So how can leaders strengthen the internal culture to boost engagement and the employee and customer experience?
I think the most important aspect is connecting the team members to vision, values, and mission. And when you really explain what that intentional effort is about, if it's less than, when we think about it in the automotive environment, we think culture is financial statement, how well you perform, that's a byproduct. The environment is driven by the culture. Whether you know it or not, it exists. It's a living, breathing element.
Northwood University, you're here today, and this is really that culture of learning and coaching. So what have you learned so far just, being on campus?
Really, it's an amazing campus. This is the individuals that are around here, they exude energy. They exude positivity of what's ahead of them. And, Joe and I are sitting, listening to the different panels and listening to some of the younger individuals here, and it just sparked for us the ability to see that, wow, there are individuals out there that want so much, and you see where they're going. And the panel prior to us, just absolutely, when they were being interviewed, Joe and I were looking at each other and just saying, wow, wow, just wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of wow at Northwood University. Joe Clemente, let me close with this. So building a passionate pipeline of future leaders, people coming into our industry, we know it's important. Any advice you'd give to young people coming into our industry? I think it's an exciting time, probably more than ever.
Yeah, it's an exciting time, right? And you have a young generation that has a passion for change. And if you're of that mindset where the same old way doesn't have to be the same old way anymore, where we can take this intelligence and say, here's a new way, here's a more creative way, here's a more creative approach to connecting with your customers, to connecting with your team members, that is what is exciting. And I think that is the biggest part. If you really want to bring a different change about, you have to bring in different mindsets. And you have to be willing to listen and learn.
John Traver brought about change many years ago into our industry. He's the father, I like to say the father of the modern day BDC.
Yeah,
Our industry owes him a tremendous amount of respect and debt for what he's built. Traver Connect, everybody, the best in the industry to service all of your needs on the business development side. Sarah Van Tyne and I are honored to be working with John Traver, Bob Gower, Joe Clemente, and Joe Link, and the team at Traver Connect. We're here today at Northwood University. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being here. And,
Thank you for
coming
having
out
us.
on behalf of Traver Connect.
Thank you.
We're at Northwood University, everybody. We're going to be right back.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We are at Northwood University. I'm Vanessa Collins, joined by Katrina Ness and Kobe Collins from GoTrago. Now, this segment is going to be a little bit different because Katrina and I are going to be the ones getting interviewed.
So before we hop into the questions, Kobe, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and GoTrago?
You bet.
So GoTrago is an assessment organization. We are an employee assessment company that has been in the auto industry for over 40 years. I haven't been there for 40 years, but it is an opportunity for companies to identify potential. And so for you all, we call you early talent. And organizations are beginning to recognize that early talent is better at strategic thinking, not just the bottom line numbers, but you come out of a university like Northwood, and we need organizations to recognize the potential that you have to grow their company. And so we help companies field their A team, because as you all know, he who fields the best team wins.
Yes.
And so we want them to field their A team so that they can achieve the goal that the company was set out to achieve. And so we use a little bit of science and apply it to what they're doing in their hiring and development process, and then help them strategically succession plan as well.
Wonderful.
That's amazing.
All right, so I want to ask you too, as early talent, because we have this incredible audience in front of us who is looking to build their teams, not just at the dealership level, right, but corporate, with CDK, with some of these other organizations. So what is it when you, and I'll start with you, Vanessa, what is it that you're hoping a company has as far as its culture goes? When you think of culture of an organization, who do you want to work for?
I would say definitely a vibrant culture, you know, somewhere that is energetic and kind of upbeat. Definitely a company that has, you know, the mission, visions, and values that kind of align with my own ethical framework too.
Okay.
And also, you know, a motivational kind of atmosphere, you know, where there is room for growth, and, you know, it's very inspiring every time, you know, I walk into work or communicate, you know, with my colleagues.
Right. How can a company communicate that to you, their culture?
I would say definitely upfront. I think, you know, with my one internship experience, I could tell that their culture, you know, aligned with everything that I ever wanted from that first screening call.
Okay.
So I think that initial, you know, reaction and that initial, you know, communication, even with just the screening call, is very important.
Great. Katrina, how about for you?
I'd say for culture, definitely an environment that fosters creativity. I think new ideas and bringing new things to the table is so important. And I think with a lot of young perspectives, that's something that can be thought of as well. I also think an opportunity for growth and to excel within the company is important, especially if you want your longevity of the employee and longer and less employee turnover, I guess you could say. And then also something that Vanessa said is just vibrance, you know, a fun place to be at when work doesn't feel like work, and just a wonderful place to be in a culture that aligns with your own.
Okay, so that's good. You both said energy, vibrance, creativity. So a company that's on the cutting edge of what's coming next, right? Growth. So when you think about your own growth and your potential, I love that you said that, because that's actually my next question, is how can you prove to a company in an interview when you're coming out of college and you don't have decades of experience? And we know a lot of organizations will say that it's an entry-level job, but you need to have 10 years of experience. I don't know how that's real, that you have to have 10 years of experience. So how are you able to express your, and I'm going to start back over here with you, Katrina, how are you able to express your growth potential you've got other people who are applying for the job. How do you prove to the company that you have growth potential when you don't have years of experience?
I think just showing your willingness to learn and grow inside of the role, and also sharing experiences from your background where you've had these opportunities maybe to excel in a position, and learn and face challenges. So I think that that's important as an interviewee when, you know, consulting a company and asking them about themselves and while they're asking you about yourself. So definitely just showing your willingness to learn and grow. And, you know, everyone starts at the same place. Everyone, you know, there's rock bottom for everyone and everyone can go up from there. So
sure. Vanessa, how do you think you can actually prove your potential?
I think that Northwood is different. I think that, you know, we gained a lot of experience in Northwood. And it's kind of like untraditional to what other students gain at other universities. You know, me and Katrina, we have been a part of numerous registered student organizations here on campus. One of them being this auto show where we both serve on the executive board and we have that hands-on experience. We're not just learning in the classroom from the books. We do have that hands-on experience. Now, we don't have 10 years, in our career, but I think that finding a company that has that trust in you and that willingness to, kind of trust us new, people in the career force to grow within our roles as well. I do agree. That willingness to learn, Katrina, is super important.
Right? So I'm going to share some information with you guys that you may not know. So often hiring managers who've been doing this for a very long time believe that their gut feel will not fail them. But we have done loads of research, and not just us, but our entire industry, and 87% of the time our gut feel is wrong. And so many people get placed in the wrong jobs. And so that's where we come in, is to help you all actually prove to an organization that you can and will do a job long term.
Wow.
It's just science. We take a look at who you are. We take a look at their culture. So we know that there's going to be culture fit. Because how many of you managers out there watching have hired somebody that you thought would be great and they are? And they've hired somebody you thought would be great and they failed. None of us want to hire people who are going to fail. And the two of you do not want to be placed in a job where you fail, right? None of us are like, boy, I hope I really just kill it and fail today. That's not right. That's not what we set out to do. And so we want to make sure that organizations can actually definitively understand your potential. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about future potential. When you go into an interview, how important is it to you that you actually see a career pathway in the very organization you're considering working for? I'll start with you, Vanessa. Sorry.
So I think it's very important. One of the cultures I listed was, a motivational environment where you can kind of, grow within that organization. So knowing that up front and knowing that, you do kind of have a path forward within that organization is very important. And for me personally, I think that once I am in my career, if I can find a company that aligns with, the culture that I'm seeking, I would want to grow within that organization rather than have to go to another.
Absolutely. That's great. Yeah, because you have to learn a whole different set of cultures. And when you work for a different leader, your potential changes.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree with what Vanessa said, and kind of to back off of that, also just like being on the same page as things. And it benefits both parties when you're on the same page and your values are aligning and you both want to be there long term as a company and as an employee. So, having the employee that enjoys the culture and knows what it is up front and sees that longevity of their career path within that company, as well as a company that can foster that from that employee, I think is important. But that's kind of just going off of what Vanessa said.
So I really value that, and I appreciate that you all are sharing your honesty there, that it is important that you see a career path forward. And, the average employee today only stays at an organization 4.2 years. 4 years, but the two of you are talking about long-term, actually developing a career.
Absolutely.
And so what we like to do is partner with organizations to understand the career paths available within the company, and then know the day that you're finishing your final interview with that organization, they could lay out your career trajectory with them and let you know exactly where you fit along that path. It doesn't have to be a straight vertical up.
Wow.
Sometimes a career path it's horizontal, sometimes it's zigzags. And so they could know immediately the day you start how to train you and where to start mentoring you from your starting position through the rest of your career and lay that out so that together you partner and spend the time where it matters to overcome your challenges, to double down on your strengths, and to put you in the future positions where you are best suited to excel. And when you excel and succeed, the company does as well, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And so what do you think that would create in the culture as well when people are where they're supposed to be? We've got the right people in the right seats doing their best work.
Yeah.
What does that feel like for you all when you come to work every day?
I think it feels good. I mean, when you're in the right place with the right organization, that's when you know.
Yeah.
I think it'll feel, back to those cultures, I think it'll feel, inspiring when everybody feels like they're right where, they're meant to be. They're going to want to come into work every day. They're going to have a, better mood. They're going to communicate better, cross-functionally with their colleagues. So I think it'll overall foster that culture that us,
That you're
young
looking
college
for.
students are looking for when we're entering the workforce.
Right.
Definitely. Well, this panel was so amazing. And again, we're here at Northwood University with Kobe Collins. And if you want more information about this panel and kind of what we discussed, make sure you go to gotrago.com and stay tuned for a lot more amazing panels coming up.
Do you want to provide your customers with an exceptional car buying journey rather than just a transaction? As Carl Sewell advocates in his book, Customers for Life, the key to ensuring customer loyalty lies in delivering an enjoyable and memorable experience. And that starts with assembling the right team. But how do you guarantee that you're hiring the best talent for the job? According to Sewell, one of the most effective methods is using a pre-employment assessment called the Trago Personnel Survey, which consistently identifies top talent and transforms company culture. While many dealerships recognize the importance of recruiting top talent, the challenge lies in identifying such talent during the hiring process. Enter GoTrago. With over 40 years of research and expertise in the auto industry, Dr. Trago and his team have been instrumental in helping clients like Sewell and many others figure out if the applicant can and will do the job. We adopt a scientific approach to evaluating candidates' behaviors and accurately predicting their job performance. Say goodbye to the frustrations of dealing with subpar hires. With GoTrago, you can transform your staff into the happiest, friendliest, and most reliable team your customers have ever encountered, ensuring customers for life. Let GoTrago guide you in selecting the perfect talent for your organization.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tyne here with Ted Ings at Northwood University. Today we have a segment with Reynolds & Reynolds and Northwood alum. We are so excited to introduce Ryan McGinty. And Ted, this has been an incredible day.
It has an incredible event in its entirety. Ryan McGinty, thank you for all that you and Reynolds do for the industry.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us today. Appreciate it.
You're a Northwood alum. You know, I think until somebody actually comes to Northwood, they don't really appreciate the full scope of everything that's going on here.
Oh, sure. I mean, you walk the campus during this auto show and you really get a good idea of how much it's loved by the students. And quite frankly, all of the majors that are participating in this auto show, you can really get a good understanding of how well gelled this university is.
And not only an alum, but you are the former general chair of this auto show. So you have a unique appreciation for all the moving parts. If you don't mind, speak to that for just a moment.
Sure. I mean, what the students do is really fantastic. I was telling a friend on the way up here today that there's a lot that I learned when I was the chairman of the show, and even when I was the European chair and working my way up into that. The things that students are going to take away from this are going to be life-changing. But the amount of work that they have to put into it to make the show go off as well as it does every single year, again, not only are they learning, but they're getting real life experience, and that's something that Northwood is really, really good at, is making sure that the students here get that life experience and really go into the workforce with an understanding of what to expect.
Let's talk a little bit today about the internships. I've always understood that, but I didn't really have a deep grasp until coming to Northwood again. That's really a big focus. Speak to us about the internships and the opportunities, the multiple opportunities for these students.
Sure. When I was a student here at Northwood, I had 6 or 7 different internships ranging anywhere from a week to a whole summer. I remember my summer going into sophomore year, I got an internship back home at a car dealership for the whole summer. The following year, I had an internship out in Arizona. And then we had internships working the Detroit Auto Show, working the NADA function. Yes. So in Las Vegas, and I believe I was in Florida one of those years. But bottom line is we got to build relationships with people in the industry, and we got to, again, have that real life experience of understanding what to expect when our feet hit the workforce. So often students don't have an idea of what it's going to be like in the work world. Northwood really, really helps their students understand what to expect.
And Ryan, the things that we're seeing of these Northwood University students, there are so many incredible individuals, so many incredible students. They're very high caliber intellectually, and also, I mean, the attention to detail. I imagine that it's very competitive for these internships. Can you share with us a little bit about what that experience is like from the perspective of a student?
Yeah, it is competitive, and honestly, students are trying really hard to make sure that they get on either the list or get the interview for a particular internship, depending upon where they want to go. I remember when I worked the Detroit Auto Show, there was a list of probably 50 students, and they whittled it down to about 20 students. And so, you know, it's not just about your grades in the class. It's about how much you participate, how much you show that you're willing to work and willing to put your best foot forward, not just in the books, but also grinding on the floor, getting out there and really being willing to understand what it takes to be successful in the industry.
Ryan, you're with the Reynolds and Reynolds Company, one of the great names in our industry. Talk to us about the benefit of these internships for a company like Reynolds and Reynolds.
Sure. We have a great group of people that come in to Reynolds and Reynolds, and especially during the 2024 NADA Expo, we had a group of students that internship with us. And the best part about that is they get to see who we are as a company. And then it gives us an idea of what these potential employees could look like in the future. You know, we love to take interns and bring them on board full time once they graduate. The best part is that we've already started bringing them up the way that Reynolds and Reynolds likes to bring their employees up. One of the things that we do most often is we say we can take anybody and train them to be successful at Reynolds and Reynolds. If they have an internship at Reynolds and Reynolds in any way, shape, or form, we can start that early. And knowing that gives them, again, another foot ahead of anybody else who comes to start for the company. Being an intern at Reynolds, you're getting inundated with how Reynolds and Reynolds does business, making sure that you can be successful should you come to work for us.
And not only is it competitive for the students, I think it's competitive for the companies as well, because these students have more than one, as you mentioned, internship opportunity. Speak to us about the competitiveness for the companies also.
Sure. With students who are taking internships through Reynolds and Reynolds, it is truly a asset to them, and it makes us want to strive to have them come work for us because they're showing that they have that drive. And so just like any other company within the automotive industry, car dealerships, any of our competitors, they're going to be looking at Northwood students knowing that not only do they have the experience because of what Northwood has done with internships, but they've got the background, they've got the knowledge from their education and from the classroom and books. And so it is competitive for us, and we really try to make sure we get the best students possible. And in reality, any student that comes from Northwood, it's going to be one of the top.
Ryan, there's a lot of organizations that have the opportunity to get these Northwood students, but Reynolds and Reynolds, you as a company, they provide a lot of education on campus as well. What would you recommend organizations if they're considering, you know, setting up internship programs or opportunities for students at Northwood University? What are some best practices for a company like Reynolds and Reynolds to do?
One, get involved in the university, obviously. Make sure that things like the auto show, you're here and you have a presence and you're getting to know the students. I believe that any company that gets to know the students prior to an internship or prior to them coming to interview and work for the company, you're really doing a great service for your company, but also you're getting to know who you want to hire from Northwood. And again, anybody that comes from Northwood is going to be a huge asset to our company or to any company that hires from Northwood.
Just a few months ago, Ryan, there was a big headline about a very large number that Reynolds has assisted here with at Northwood University with the new Center for Automotive CAMS, I believe, okay,
Yeah.
mobility. Speak to that if you would, because I was going to ask you if there are any best practices, but Reynolds really leads from the front.
Sure, we love to lead from the front in that regard. And yes, we did make a large donation to the new CAM building, and part of that is because we do believe in the Northwood idea. You know, free enterprise is what Northwood is all about, and Reynolds and Reynolds firmly believes in that. We want to make sure that the students that not only we get from Northwood, but that are coming into the automotive industry have the education and understanding of what Northwood preaches in its classroom. So we're very excited to be a part of that.
Reynolds and Reynolds lead, as Ted, you mentioned, they lead from the front. And Ryan, it is incredible to get to talk to you. And how often do you get the opportunity to come back to Northwood and participate in events like this, like the Roundtable and the Auto Show?
Well, that's a great question. It's been more recent than in the past, but lately it's been about twice a year that I've gotten to come back to Northwood. We try to make it back for the auto show. I do have 3 kids, and it's great. Last year I got to bring them for the first time, and they loved running around campus looking at all the cars and looking to see what the students have put on. But most importantly, I love being able to show my kids where I went to school and what it was like for me. Because while Northwood has changed with buildings, the campus is still gorgeous. You still have, there's trees that were here when I was here, and you get to see the leaves change, and it's like, I remember that tree, I remember that building, and my kids really do love it. So, it's about once or twice a year, and definitely we try to come back every auto show.
The opportunities are great for the students and the companies involved. We're here at Northwood University. Sarah, this is really the first leg of the Triple Crown this month for the pop-up events, because where are we headed next week?
Reynolds and Reynolds headquarters, and we will be there on October 9th, and that is going to be an incredible day.
So, Ryan, we're looking forward to coming down and spending some time with Chris and Sean and Greg and the whole team there, and learning a lot more about Reynolds, and having our audience see some of the things that Reynolds is doing now, even behind the scenes. What an amazing opportunity for the industry.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to having you guys next week also.
Yeah, so we are at Northwood University. We are here with Ryan McGinty from Reynolds and Reynolds. We're at Northwood at the International Auto Show, Sarah Van Tyne and I, and we're going to be right back.
Hello, my name is Nikhil Kalani, Chief Information Security Officer at Proton Dealership IT and Cybersecurity. We recently opened a brand new Security Operations Center here in our Dayton, Ohio headquarters. This center is a substantial upgrade for constant monitoring of suspicious activity on our customer systems. On-site professionals analyze the cyber landscape, the techniques criminals are using, and monitor the signals received by our tools. Our new Security Operations Center will elevate monitoring and response to a whole new level, keeping you safer than ever before. If you'd like to learn more about what Proton can do for you, let's talk.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tyne here with Ted Ings. Ted, we've got some good friends of the Roundtable here with us today at Northwood University.
Great colleagues here at Northwood. What a fantastic time to be here. Fred Forden, Sean Kingery, and Don Andres are with us. I'd like to speak to you gentlemen with Sarah about building a passionate pipeline of people coming into our industry. Sean Kingery, what are some of your thoughts here being at Northwood now?
We were talking earlier, the three of us were sitting during a different panel. And the one thing I took away, I think the one thing I take away from, first of all, the way the business has changed and we get to hospitality, and I think that's the new focus. But the one thing different about Northwood, I think, and the three of us agreed at the exact same time, is Northwood is all one. It's there's no silos. And no matter what education source you're going to, and again, I've graduated NADA Academy twice, some of those education sources can develop silos. Northwood doesn't have that. And that, I think, is the biggest pickup I picked up from here is it's all one. It's sales, it's service, it's no matter what field, whether you're going to work for CDK or Reynolds or whatever your career path takes you, everybody's directed in the same path. And that's the energy you feel here from the students.
Is there an energy that you do feel and pick up on?
You're talking to somebody, until you had me here in June, I don't know, I knew about Northwood more than a year ago. And I've been in the business for 30 years. So the energy at Northwood, if you haven't visited the campus, you have to at least once. If you're in the automotive business, you have to understand what this is all about with LG and all the doctors and everybody presenting yesterday, and everybody's approachable. There's not even silos in the instructors.
Fred, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Sean just said it extremely well. I've been in this industry my whole life. I never knew about Northwoods until 2 years ago when Mike Stoll, began to try and get me to come up here to teach a class. My experience with these kids has just been incredible. They know where they're going. They may not know whether they want to go to work for a big DMS company or a big provider like Cox, or they want to go to work for an auto group but they know where they want to go. Who's going to marketing, right? Who actually wants to go in and run the sales floor? These guys are focused and passionate. And, if you're in this industry and you're looking for good, reliable people that are going to make a difference quickly, you got to come here. Sean said it. You've got to come here if you're in this industry and really get your eyes open for you.
You and I were speaking offline just a little while ago about entrepreneurship. And I have heard that there's a large number of graduates, I think up to 30%, who end up starting their own companies, okay? And being brazen enough to do that. I don't know if you want to speak to that or not, because that does take a lot.
Well, it takes a lot. If you're going to be entrepreneurial, there's a certain level of fear you just cannot have exist in your gut, because otherwise you can't make it through to the next day. You won't sleep. And some of these guys at the young age of 21, 22 years old, they've already got that self-awareness that they've got what it takes to do that. And I'm excited. I can't wait to watch what these kids do.
All right, Don, you spent a couple days on campus. Your first time here, your thoughts?
It's interesting. It's a small enough campus that you actually see all of this one-on-one happening, right? So they have this small campus as opposed to big universities, and they draw these amazing, talented leaders in the industry to this small campus to do this one-on-one work with their students. So it's obviously a foregone conclusion they're going to come away with so much more tools, so much more confidence, so much more understanding of the business. And I love what you said, where they have gone away from this idea, oh, you're going to go into variable? Sure, let me focus you on how the road to the sale goes. No, these people seem to have a great understanding. These students have a great understanding now of saying, no, I came here for marketing. I'm in love with fixed operations now, or I came here thinking I was going to, head up and become a general manager someday. So I really worked on my variables. No, they want to know everything. And when you speak to them, they're professionals already at 20 years old, 21, 22 years old. You actually are talking to a professional. It's impressive. I don't know of another university that is so perfectly focused on our industry and accomplishing what they accomplish.
Well, the other piece that it was incredible to witness yesterday, and Ted, we saw this happening as all of these different panels were unfolding. People were recruiting individuals from the stage during this entire event. And so, Sean, thinking about the dealerships, and there's a lot of people, vendor partners and DMS companies, a lot of big players in automotive that are all here congregated at Northwood. How impactful would that be to have somebody that is well-rounded, that has all of this in an environment that really gives them applicable skills in automotive?
And taking what you said, Sarah, and I'm going to put in perspective for those that weren't here yesterday. There's the student panel on the stage, and there's big players here, okay? And Ted brought a great crew here, a lot of big names. And when they're picking them off stage, they're literally shouting out recruitment comments, and everybody's laughing like it's a joke. But it really wasn't a joke. I mean, they were being serious about it. Come here, here's where to apply, and they're throwing their websites out there. And when I first got introduced to Northwood, it was known as a dealer principal kids school. It's so much more than that. And that's such an understatement to say that's what it is.
Yeah.
It is anything but that, if that. And there are some dealer principal kids here. But back to our June visit, when we had a true roundtable, the amount of people that were there and the kids that were talking about being engineers, that was the big, I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to go build these things. Guys, that's bigger than just being a fixed ops guy or a service manager or a parts manager. Talk about entrepreneurship. These kids are thinking beyond any scope, and here I'm 52 years old. They're thinking bigger than I do.
Fred, I was going to say, Sarah, pardon me, there were some billionaires, a few of them on the stage yesterday. But I think it's really the students who stole the show here this week.
I agree. And the billionaires on the stage, if you didn't know they were billionaires, you wouldn't have known by their presence. And that's what shows up here with these kids as well. Some of these kids, their parents own big dealer groups, but all you see from them is a real natural desire to learn and to serve. And I think that's the key, is that they're not just looking at it singularly from how do I benefit, but how do I alter the industry, right? How do I go out and make a difference? And when you put those together, it's a very, very powerful thing.
And Don, this is a great opportunity for people like all of us up here on this panel today to come here and witness this.
Well, it is, because suddenly you start to really feel confident about the future. You know, the automotive industry is going through just huge radical change, right? When you see these students now, you say, okay, I think we're going to be in good hands. I think these are clear thinking individuals that are going to embrace change, are going to embrace the way the automotive is going to transition itself, and they're still going to be customer centric. They're still going to be customer focused. We never really got away from this idea of building relationships with customers, even though we've got this big monster that we're going to have to try to, put our arms around and understand what we're going to do in the future.
Well, and everybody on this panel has the front row seat here at Northwood University to see these incredible students. And Ted, we've had the pleasure of getting to know some students ourselves that have been involved with the Roundtable.
That's right, and we met them here at Northwood with no intention that they would continue on with us in an internship or in any capacity. Sean, I'll come to you. You've been very involved in a lot of the things that we do at the Roundtable, and you've had a chance to witness Katrina and Vanessa grow over the last year.
I think those two are a perfect example, and it goes back to our conversation earlier, is the college is so much more than just learning how to read a financial statement. It helps them grow. Where their mothers are up here, and you had your daughter up here, where they've grown so much. This isn't just, and I sent 5 kids to college. This is such a bigger piece than that. They come in not knowing what to expect, and again, it's more than reading a financial statement. They teach individualism. They teach them how to grow in the business.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you on behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable and Northwood University for being with us this week. And like Sarah said, you put it so well, having a front row seat, Sarah.
It's been incredible, Ted, and these gentlemen up here have been a big part of the Fixed Ops Roundtable the last few days.
All right, everybody, we're here at Northwood University. We're here with some of the anchors of the Roundtable, Fred Forden, Sean Kingery, Don Andres, and we're going to be right back.
We've never met, but we know you. You've got big plans for your career and your life.
Yes, I love it.
You're the overachiever, the go-getter with the entrepreneurial spirit.
This is such a cool idea. We could definitely.
You're also guided by this inner compass, your true north. Yeah, we know you. And maybe it's time for you to know us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Northwood University's pop-up event. I'm Katrina Ness with Sarah Vantine, and this is our Mother and Daughters panel.
Katrina, I'm so excited because for me, and I know Jen, this is such a great opportunity. We get to be up here today at Northwood University with our daughters, getting to have some conversation around all things automotive, and then also just being, women and young women considering their futures. Jen, thank you again for coming on this panel today. And Katrina, how does it feel to be up here with your mom at Northwood University, getting to share the spotlight and have this conversation?
It feels awesome. My mom has been a huge role in my career and my future development. She really kind of influenced me to go to Northwood a little bit. Cox Automotive, which is where she works as has great connections with Northwood University. So she told me about this school, and I came up here and I toured, and I found out it was the right place for me, and I'm so happy I'm here, and this is how everything has come to be. So it's cool to be up here with my mom once again. She always comes up and visits, and it's nice to have her up here on a panel for the first time.
Well, I get the opportunity to with Jen. We get to be up here with our daughters, and my daughter, Taylor Vantine, is sitting right next to me as well. And so this is the first opportunity I've had a chance to get to ask Taylor a question. Taylor, how does it feel to be up here at Northwood University?
It feels really good. I really like this college, and it's very pretty and everything, so yeah.
And what grade are you in, Taylor?
I'm in 6th grade.
Wow, wonderful. So I'll ask the moms some questions. What is it like being a mother while working in the automotive industry? Because both of you have wonderful backgrounds within the industry through Quantum 5, and then the Teddings Fixed Ops Roundtable, and then my mother through Cox and all your other career paths. So Sarah, would you go first?
Sure. You know, it's been an interesting journey. So Taylor is 11 years old. She's turning 12. But I remember getting into the automotive industry, and one of the career paths that changed for me was considering what it was going to be like as a wife. I got engaged when I was in the car business, and then became a mother. And I was, pregnant at the dealership with Taylor right up until, she was born. I left the hospital. Left the dealership and went to the hospital. And so, being a mom in automotive has been an interesting journey. We think about all of the different ways that, our career trajectory can go. But one thing that always was top of mind was how do I include being a mother into this career, and how do I include all of the things that make me, a great professional into being a great mother. And so for me, one of the biggest pieces in my career development was looking at opportunities that allowed me to be both sides of who I am. And so that was really, for me, every choice that I've made along the way in the 15 plus years that I've been in the automotive industry, it's all really been around the decisions that I've made for my family. And I'm sure Jen has very similar sentiments.
I do, and I've been in the industry a little longer than that, Sarah. But I'm so pleased with how it's evolved for women. Right, when you and I first entered the industry, we were definitely minorities. Right, at the time it was male dominated, and I remember being pregnant for the first time. I hid my pregnancy until I was almost in my third trimester, because it's just something we didn't talk about very much. But a couple decades passed, and boy, is it a different environment now for women. And I'm so optimistic now for our daughters, because great companies are competing for great talent, and they absolutely respect work-life balance. And it's so important, right? And they know in order to keep good talent, you've got to be accommodating to these types of circumstances.
Well, and Jen, we're seeing this with the younger generations. It's not just women, it's all of these future generations that are really putting the top piece in their professional career on how do I have the ability to be my authentic self and do the things that I'm interested in, but also have a fulfilling and empowering professional career. Katrina, how has your experience at Northwood evolved your professional aspirations?
Northwood is an amazing university to be at, especially in the automotive industry. So in terms of my career and my future professions, this school has accelerated me beyond words. We have so many different experiential learning opportunities at this school where you really get that outside world kind of examples. So when you're pushed into the workforce, you're almost ready, and kind of being able to just hop right in. I feel like I'm set for life, and I'm ready to go as soon as I graduate. Yeah.
And Taylor, you've got a little ways to go before you're a Northwood student or considering your college options, but you have been able to meet incredible young women like Katrina and Vanessa at this event at Northwood University. How has being able to be on campus impacted your thinking about the future?
Well, it does make me think a lot about the future, and I kind of want to go to the school.
She has some time, but it's a great university to think of even at a young age. We have a lot of different activities that we do here with younger high school students, and even going into freshman year. We have summer camps and stuff that we host here. So Taylor, when you're ready, we're ready for you. And if she's interested in the automotive industry, this is definitely the place to be as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So speaking of Northwood University, I'm going to ask my mom a question. What's it like being a Northwood parent?
Oh, it's tremendous. I didn't think that you would wind up here in a small university setting. As you recall, we toured many campuses. We live in the great state of Michigan, and there are a lot of public school options. I do remember when Katrina and I came on this campus for the very first time, I didn't want to push her. I wanted this to be her decision. And President Kent McDonald spoke at an open house, and he said to the parents in the audience, if you entrust your students to us, I promise that they won't get lost on this campus and they won't be able to hide.
Oh, yeah.
And that just hit me in the heart as a parent when you send your kids off to college. Around the same time, my older daughter was at a large state university, and she was struggling. She was in classes with 200 and 300 people in an auditorium. She wasn't finding her people. She was getting lost, and she was able to hide, the two things that Dr. McDonald said that wouldn't happen here. Katrina came up with, this decision herself, and I couldn't be more pleased.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting to me to get to have the opportunity to see and meet Jen and talk to her about her experience as a Northwood parent. Taylor's my oldest, and we're a little ways from that, but education is always so important to us, and we have built our family around learning. And I know, Taylor, that you've enjoyed the opportunities to be here and get to see so many different pieces and have that in the back of your mind as you continue to develop as a person.
Okay.
One last thing I'd like to say about the Katrina's university experience is, I've been in the business for 30 years, and it took me probably 5, 6, maybe even 7 years going from dealership to dealership to dealership when I was with an OEM to learn the amount of business and context that she has absorbed just in the last year or two. It's been incredible. So it really has accelerated her career.
Yeah, and like my mom said, Northwood really gets you going in the automotive industry. I know the lingo, we're learning that as process. I get opportunities to do this. We have our auto show on campus currently, another great experiential learning opportunity for students to get involved and excel their roles and responsibilities in their network. So,
well, Katrina, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to see you continue to grow and evolve as you build your way into the future of automotive. And Jen Ness, it was such a pleasure to get to meet you. I know that we'll have you back for certain on future events, and it'll be exciting to see and have your perspective again as Katrina gets out into the workforce.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, on behalf of Ted Ings, I'm Sarah Vantine here today with Taylor Vantine, Jen Ness, and Katrina Ness. Stay tuned. We have more exciting segments coming up on the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
The more inventory you have, the more turn you have, the better chance you're going to have the part. And you got to hit the lost sale key every time, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that we're looking at, when you look at your inventory, every avenue for parts helps your inventory grow, right? So if it's e-commerce, if it's wholesale, if it's the shop, your goal is to have a great inventory managed by your parts manager. Now, e-commerce is a great way because you get paid. You get paid. I mean, wholesale, gotta get paid, So I think that when you look at retail, I think of e-commerce as your front counter to the world. And that front counter to the world is if anybody wants to buy a great part. So we have Land Rover golf bags to Land Rover parts available for sale to the World Wide Web as we look at. So I think our goal is, if you don't have e-commerce, the question is, why not?
Welcome to Northwood University. Ted, this has been an amazing day at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and here we are. We're at the end, a conclusion of this incredible event.
We did it again, year number 2, Sarah. So there were a lot of takeaways here at the pop-up event and everything happening at Northwood this week. What did you think was most memorable to you of all the panels, all the people, all the speakers that we had on the roundtable?
The biggest thing that I took away from this event was just really the future of automotive and how important it is to be focused on the customer experience, making things easy, making things more time efficient. And then, of course, the incredible students at Northwood University, just getting to see and meet these students and getting to see the passion that they have. The future in this industry is in great hands.
It is. So on behalf of Sarah Van Tyne and the entire fixed operations team, we're so grateful to Northwood to allow us to come in and host us here this week at their beautiful campus here in Midland, Michigan. I'm Ted Ings with Sarah Van Tyne. We thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.